Boris Johnson drops NHS fee for migrant healthcare workers in humiliating U-turn 24 hours after defending policy.
Here's a summary of the article.
Boris Johnson has ordered the removal of the NHS migrant surcharge from health and care workers, in a humiliating U-turn a day after telling the House of Commons it would stay. Hours before Mr. Johnson's announcement, the RCN, which has campaigned for 2 years for an exemption for health staff, published figures showing that newly qualified NHS nurses born overseas would have to work for a whole month to pay off the fee when it rises from the current £400 to £624 for adults and £470 for children in October. Just 24 hours before his climb down, Mr. Johnson told the House of Commons that imposing the immigration health surcharge on foreign-born NHS workers was the right way forward. After a day of disquiet in Tory ranks, a 10 Downing Street spokesman announced the surprise U-turn, saying, "The PM has asked the Home Office and the Department for Health and Social Care to remove NHS and care workers from the NHS surcharge as soon as possible." The purpose of the NHS surcharge is to benefit the NHS, help to care for the sick and save lives. NHS and care workers from abroad who are granted visas are doing this already by the fantastic contribution which they make. All NHS staff, including porters and cleaners as well as doctors and nurses, will be exempted, along with independent health workers and social care workers. We now must move forward in acknowledging the enormous contribution of healthcare workers to our health service. DOC will continue to call for indefinite leave to remain for all frontline healthcare workers who have served in the NHS during the pandemic.
This post received a score of 26,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Can't all be right. But at least the feathered buffoon did do a U-turn. If only they all would adapt to criticisms. Edit. I can't spell buffoon right.
Some time ago I read a quote that said I'm glad he U-turned, but I think any kind of beneficial outcomes most UK people could get can only happen if they also happen to make Boris ultimately look good to the majority of people. That showboating becomes a problem if an important issue only affects a small number of people. To Boris it may not be worth making a change because it won't directly please the majority, but to that small group of people, it's life and death.
I'd rather have that quote than Trump, who sees where the crowd is going, then yells "wrong", turns around, and runs the other direction.
More like, right guys, exactly, just turn here, and then leading the crowd off a cliff. Fake populist.
He ain't a fake populist, at least in respect of the 21st century he is quite in brand with populist movement, they all defraud their countries.
Yeah, Trump is literally a populist. What the fuck is he talking about?
He's saying Trump's ideological values aren't popular. He wraps himself in populist rhetoric, but at the end of the day, he supports the same base Republican playbook, which is not popular.
But they are. He 100% ran on populism and nationalism. He promised to get everyone's jobs back and build the wall. Where he lied was wrapping himself in the anti-establishment cloak. Trump is literally the wealthy coastal elite his base hates. That's just not true. It's winning elections and definitely dominant in half the country. I'm saying this as a liberal, progressive.
His policy of building the wall is not popular. His policy of tax cuts for the wealthy is not popular. His policy of defunding SNAP, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare is not popular. Escalating war with Iran is not popular. He has populist rhetoric, but any individual issue in his core policies aren't popular.
In Trump's case he ran on conservative populism, and what we got, as was expected, was just establishment Republican policy. It really just boils down to how one is defining populism. In my view, populism is more of a presentation of an ideology than a true platform. Trump also benefits from the Electoral College, where he doesn't need appeal to the pure majority of public opinion. He just has to motivate his base and get a majority, plurality in enough of the swing states to win the election while losing by 3 million votes.
It is just a ridiculous tax. Immigrants pay the same taxes as everyone else. The NHS is fully funded from the general budget, not from insurance policies. Furthermore, study after study has shown that immigrants are less of a burden to the NHS than the general population, since they tend to be younger and healthier.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.